Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good evening, good evening, guys. Welcome back to T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays. I know y'all heard that intro. It's time to get down with the nitty gritty, y'all. Welcome back to T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays. There is nothing better that you should be doing on a Tuesday evening than tuning in, honey. I hope that y'all have y'all teacups ready because we have some piping hot tea to spill for you tonight. So let's go ahead and get down to a little housekeeping. Y'all already know, as usual, per usual, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to whatever platform you are on right now. Guys, go ahead and share this show on your news feed this evening. Why? Because we are talking about credit, honey. In case you didn't know, this month, for season 7 of T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays, we are bringing to you expert advisors in the area of credit, consumer law, business credit, personal credit. So if you missed last week's live episode, don't feel bad. It's recorded. And we're going to go ahead and give you a little playback from that. We'll be right back right after this. What y'all trying to do?
When we talk about consumer law, technically and legally, a creditor lender cannot deny you access to credit regardless of your credit score. That is a law, right? It's under the Equal Opportunity Act, right? So what happens is, and it's a long story, but to make a long story short, so the creditors such as Bank of America, Honda, Navy Federal, they are not the original creditors. If we know consumer law, we as the people are the original creditors. So if we are the original creditors, that means that they cannot deny us an extension of our own credit because they're not giving us credit. Right. So we're going into these banks and exercising our own rights and extending credit to ourselves. And this is because back in 1933, the United States went bankrupt. And so when they went bankrupt, there's no way to really pay for anything besides silver and gold. And so as a result, the economy flowed based on the credit of the consumers, which is us. Wow. The banks don't have any money. So when you go into a bank or if you go into a dealership, they make you think they're giving you a loan when they're not giving you a loan. They're creating a fictitious paper for you to sign. Wow. And what happens is when we are all born, there is a CSCC trust account that's created on every one of us as a U.S. citizen. And what happens is the Department of Treasury actually holds that money. It's worth millions of dollars. And so whenever we go to a dealership or, a bank to ask for anything, the moment they take our social, they've already gotten paid for whatever it is that we're applying for. So any payments after that is all fraud, whether the bank is receiving it, the dealership is receiving down payments for your cars, 100% illegal. It tells you in the law that you cannot mix credit and cash together, right? So if everything is given to us as an extension of our credit, you cannot mix that with a cash transaction. So if anyone has ever put a down payment on their car, I don't care if it's been 25 years, you can get your money back. And money that you ever paid with the car, yes, every payment after that, you can get refunded. You just have to know law and you have to know the process. So you can get it all back. It's 100% illegal. And so, and they'll tell you hey, if you put down this amount of money, they will be able to make your note, monthly.
That's why, yeah.
A lie. This is, if you're putting a down payment down, that money is going directly to the dealership. It has nothing to do with your loan whatsoever. Because remember, you cannot mix credit and cash in a transaction.
Okay, so just from that little snippet of something, y'all can tell that it was fully flowing. The tea was fully flowing on last Tuesday. And this is just a little bit about, consumer law. These are laws that a lot of us don't read. We're just taught a certain way. And so because we're taught a certain or a particular way doesn't necessarily mean that the way that we're taught is actually correct. right? We are taught, everyone is, it's kind of like a situation where you have a group of friends and your friends educate you on girls or boys or whatever the case may be, right? They're your friends. They're going based upon what somebody told them or what they might have overheard, but not necessarily coming from a true expert, someone that's, well rounded in that, or very well, what do you call it, versed or educated on that topic. So with this is why I wanted to make sure that we brought expert advisors onto the show that to discuss these issues so that we can learn. The Bible says our people perish for lack of knowledge. So without the knowledge, we don't know how to make knowledgeable or informed decisions. And so that is why this particular month, I'm focusing so much on credit and consumer law, because I know a lot of you are already making plans and goals for the year, but oftentimes the way that you can go ahead and finance your goals or your vision is to know how you can do that financially, right? And so this is a way for us to empower you with something to make your dollar count, right? So thank you guys for tuning in on last week. If you didn't, after this show, go ahead and tune into that episode. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed at all. Now, again, if you are just now tuning in with us, make sure that you give us some hearts, because we love to get all of your feedback. And also, we know that at T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays, honey, sharing is caring. So go ahead and spill this tea on your timeline, on your news feed. Make sure that you're following us. Make sure that you're liking us. Make sure that you're subscribing. And make sure that you are sharing this with all of your friends and family. If you love your friends and family, you believe in leaving behind a legacy and wealth for future generations, you're going to hook them in, connect them to this information. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and make sure that you guys tune in to Bimp on the Spot with Taz. Now, last week we had Mark Evans II. So if you all missed that show on January 12th of last week, make sure you go back and you watch that recording. Now, with all of that, in the meantime, in between time, this coming Thursday, we have another guest coming on Bimp on the Spot with Taz. Guys, make sure that you are there for Mr. Colby Young. He's the Miami Hurricane. Y'all make sure you're there for this interview. Those interviews are always all the way live, all the way lit, and you're going to get so much information from it. So make sure you tune in on this coming Thursday, January 19th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, guys, if you live in the Tampa Bay area and you're from, Sarasota, Brandon, wherever you are in the Tampa Bay area, we are hosting a Taste of Harlem Nights on February 18, 2023. It is going to be held at the St. Petersburg Distillery, which is a liquor distillery, guys. It is so beautiful. We actually took a tour there in St. Petersburg. When I tell you we got some good clips, some good footage, we are going to share that. So make sure that you stay tuned. Look out for our promotions, the marketing material, advertisements on that. You'll learn how you can get signed up. We're going to be doing free tasting, free liquor tastings, free food, and also we're going to have some food trucks and things of that nature out there. So y'all want to be there, honey. Be there or be square, as they would say. Our catering companies that are participating will be serving free samples of food that we would like to have served at the Harlem Nights Gala and Fashion Show. So we are asking the community to help us to select our caterer. This is why they're going to be providing free samples, is because you will get a chance to vote on the caterer that you would like to see at the Harlem Nights Black Tie Gala and Fashion Show in October. So make sure you come, bring out your children, bring your family. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have a VIP mixer. We want to see our VIP guests in the building, and our VIP guests actually get to do an exclusive tour of the distillery. Keep in mind, this is not open to the public, so you can't just go in there and ask for a tour. All of our VIP guests will get a chance to mix and mingle at our mixer. They'll also get to go on an exclusive tour of the distillery itself. Guys, let me tell you, it's amazing and you will absolutely love it. So stay tuned for more information. Now that we have gotten all of the formalities out of the way, it is time for me to introduce our guest of the evening, our expert advisor of the evening, Miss Janeil Pierre. Now, her business or her brand is called financialpilot.com, and she's the financial pilot because she's the one who's providing the credit counseling and the consultation. And honey, let me tell you something, she has an amazing testimony, an amazing backstory as to how she got started into this particular industry, and she has phenomenal insight for you. So without that and anything else to say about Miss Janeil, take a look at this and we'll be right back.
So my relationship with money was one of, you have to work for what you need. You have to work for what you deserve. You have to work for what you want. And there isn't going to always be someone there to help you.
Yes. Welcome to the platform. Thank you, Miss Janeil, for joining us this evening. Welcome, and welcome.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, how are you doing today? First of all,
I am doing amazing. Thank you for that warm welcome. I was all smiles. That was absolutely amazing. I appreciate that a whole lot. And I am well. I'm doing really well. Thank you. How are you?
listen, I'm excited to have you on the show. I'm just excited to have you on the platform. We had a little bit of a discussion in the back, in the studio, guys. And let me tell you something. When I say that Janeil is very knowledgeable in the credit arena in that particular industry, she is very well versed. And so, as I shared with her earlier, is we're bringing on different perspectives in terms of the business credit, personal credit, consumer law, and I want to make sure that we bring on a diverse group of people, because not all the time does my personality mesh well with somebody else's personality, right? So this gives you all an opportunity to hear what each of our accredited experts are saying, and determine whether who you connect with, which one you think you would vibe with the most. Because when we're dealing with credit, that's like our personal stuff, right? We want to make sure that we trust the people that we're dealing with, and we want to make sure that we feel comfortable with divulging our personal information. So without any further ado, let Miss Janeil spill her own tea. Tell us who she is, where she's from, how she got started. Miss Janeil, go ahead and take it.
Oh, okay. So my name is Janeil, actually, Janeil Pierre. And most people say Janelle, but that's okay. And originally, you can hear my accent. It cannot be hidden. So I have to say where the accent is from before I say anything else. I was born and raised on the island of Trinidad and Tobago.
Wow.
And yeah, I migrated to the States to be with my grandmother. My grandmother was actually the first person in our family to migrate to the United States. And she was my favorite person.
Wow.
She was my favorite person in the whole wide world. And she left when I was 10 years old. So it was always my mission to come behind her, to follow her, to be where she was at, because that was my favorite person in the whole world as a child. And so my mom was like, you can go, but you have to finish high school first. So I had to go through all of high school, graduate, and then have the opportunity to, move stateside to be with my grandmother. So that's where the accent is from. And, as a lot of immigrants that come into this country, we don't know the lay of the land. We don't know how things happen. We just know we want to come for whatever reason we want to come. For me, it was my grandmom, and to also, be able to provide a better life for my family back home. right? Because my mom was a single parent, raising 3 kids on her own. And so, whatever I can do as a firstborn to help that situation out, that's what I was willing to do. And I ran into a lot of financial difficulties as a young adult, as a young woman, and even going later into closer to 30, I was like, whoa, wait, we're smart, we're hardworking, we have great work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I still struggling? What
Wow.
is the missing piece? Right? And I'm telling you, I was struggling pretty badly to the point where sometimes I couldn't buy food. Right? I was
Wow.
sleeping on an air mattress on the floor, renting, a room, subletting a room from another family, and just barely making ends meet.
Wow.
And in my mind, it was the craziest thing because I came here to help my family.
Mm.
And now I'm in a position where I need help and there is no one to help me.
Mm.
Right? So
Gotcha.
I decided, okay, I have to do something. I have to do something. I don't have the money, but I have to do something still because staying in this place is not going to be, it's not going to be helpful. It's not going to get me from point A to point B. It's not going to get my family from point A to point B. So I
Mm.
don't know where this idea came from. But just because I was struggling so bad and I made a promise to myself, I will never struggle like this again. I
Wow.
had the inclination to study money, to really start learning about money and really start learning about credit. And so
Mm.
in my despair, at my lowest point, all through the tears and all through the disappointment and all through the hunger, because some days I couldn't even buy food for myself,
Wow.
I just started learning about credit, about money, about how to manage the little that I had.
Mm.
It came to the point where, okay, I got tired of living like this. And I needed something because this is post 9/11 at this point now. So, post 9/11, post
Mm-hmm.
recession, things are tough,
Right.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
so with me not ever being able to go to school, to college, to get a tertiary education, I was pretty much, my options were limited.
Mm.
Options were limited. With just a high school diploma, my options were severely limited. And
Mm.
I thought long and hard, and I'm like, you know what? This is it. I have to do this, otherwise I will not be able to survive. And I called an army recruiter, and I'm like, what do you have?
Mm.
What do you have? The
Wow.
entire process of joining the military because out of hunger, out of frustration, out of wanting more, out of just being fed up of sleeping on a floor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So at
Yeah.
27 years old, I left for the military at 27.
Oh my gosh, and
And
I didn't know that. Now, I did hear your testimony, and I know that you graduated from high school at the age of
I
16,
did.
and
Mhm.
you came to the US with the plan and intention to become a nurse.
Yes. I wanted to be
Yes.
a pediatric nurse. That was my biggest dream at the time. But
Okay.
life happened. And
Right.
so when life
Mhm.
happens, sometimes we allow life and the circumstances that we're in to push us off our goals and our paths. And we choose
Mm.
a different path. And that's what happened. I gave up on that dream because it was too painful to hold on to it anymore.
Wow. Wow. Now, today, because of so you've learned so much. And, I tell people oftentimes that life itself will teach us valuable lessons. We gain a lot of wisdom from just living, right? And I
Mhm.
remember my grandmother used to say, you just live.
Just live. Yeah.
Just live.
Hmm.
And just from living, you'll learn,
Hmm.
those things that you need to know as you navigate through life, right? And
Yes.
so I know one of the things that you shared in your testimonial was not being able to attend prom because your mom didn't have the finances to be able to send you.
So yes, so it was my idea to not go to my high school prom, knowing that
Mhm.
I was leaving the country 2 weeks later. She had just bought a ticket. She had just, packed me up and everything. So I'm like, "Ma,
Mhm.
it's okay. I don't have to go." It was totally my idea. There was just
Mhm.
something about me that I have always been an observant person. And I
Mm.
realized, how you see kids and they are like, I want, I want, I want, and they're not
Mhm.
considerate of their parents' struggle. I was
Right.
cognizant of my mother's struggle. And so
Mm.
my wants were very limited.
Mm.
I never made mom feel bad for not as a matter of fact, I didn't ask for anything because I didn't want her to
Wow.
feel the burden of not being able to give it to me, So I was, whatever it was, I was contented with it. If it was tea without milk, I was contented with that, and it was the best thing ever, right?
Wow.
Because I just had that inclination. I just was so observant as a child that I knew to not put that stress on my mom. So it was totally my idea. I did end up going after all. Um,
Okay.
don't ask me where she got the money from, but she was like, "No, you have to go. You know, that's the last time you're gonna see your friends for a long time, and I really
Right.
want you to go." So I did end up going in the end, but
Okay.
originally it was the plan to not go at all, just so that she won't have to worry about getting the ticket and the
Wow.
dress and the shoes and the hairdo and everything else.
And it's expensive. It definitely, I mean, back in when I went to prom, it was very expensive. And so it was a struggle. I
Mhm.
think for some of us, I was not that child that was like considerate of my mom's finances. I'm like, this is what I want, this is what I expect for you to get. And so my mom, she worked 2, 3 jobs to make sure that my sister and I had, at the time it was just two of us, to make sure that we had everything that we pretty much needed and wanted, right?
Mhm.
And now that I'm an adult, I really realize like how many things we actually had access to
Mhm.
that you oftentimes take for granted just because you just don't know. But when you become an adult and you start to live,
Mhm.
then you realize like, wow, that was my mom did that. Right.
Yeah.
So I know that you went, okay, so now I understand that you went to the military. I know that you have your degrees now.
Yes.
So do you feel as though making the transition to go to the military was the best decision? Like, do you feel like that's what you needed? Or do you feel confident in that direction, the direction that you took at that time?
So at the time, I was scared out of my mind. All I knew was that I wasn't comfortable where I was, and I needed
Mm-hmm.
something better. And that was the only opportunity. That was the only person that was willing to give me a chance, was the military, the U.S. Army.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
at the time, it was the best decision and the only decision
Mm,
that was available. And
got you.
going through the military, like I said, I was scared out of my mind. I was shaking.
Mm,
I didn't tell a lot of people because I didn't want anybody to talk me out of it. Because
right.
one thing that was one decision I had made clearly in my mind is that I will never tell anybody what I'm going through. I will never let anybody know,
Mm.
because when you have a certain intellect and when you have a certain dream and a certain goal for yourself,
Yeah.
and you're living opposite of that,
Mhm.
that's not something you want to share with people, because people expect you to do well. People expect
Right.
you to,
Mhm.
be successful. And here
Mhm.
I am, 10, 11 years after high school, and I'm not even one drop of success. There's nothing behind my name. There's no success. There's no money. There's no nothing. Nothing at
Mm.
all. So I made that promise to myself. I'm getting out of this, and I will
Yeah.
never tell a soul, because there was so much shame and fear and embarrassment in going through that.
Mm.
Imagine saying at 26, I am hungry and I cannot afford to feed myself,
Wow.
right? That
Wow.
was a lot of embarrassment and a lot of shame, because you know you can do better.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, one of the things that we try to push and educate on this platform is the importance of us gaining the knowledge that we need as a people, because we're already the underdog, right? There isn't a whole lot of information that's shared with us, to help us advance ourselves. I have a great example. So I was watching a a vlogger, an influencer,
Mhm.
and one of the things that she said is like, a lot of people have these content creation courses trying to teach you how to, increase your viewership on YouTube and different things like that. And she said, and I've attended some of these, and I realized like these people are lying. They making you jump through all of these extra hurdles, right? Knowing that that is not the path that they took to get to where they got. But because they don't want you to get the real solution, they'll divert you on a different path. And that's ultimately what has happened to us as a people, is that we've been given all of these invisible hurdles and told that we have to jump through these when they've always had a cheat code on the other side, right?
Mhm.
So now you are in a place in your life where you're thinking, okay, most people who come to the US think, oh, this is going to be great because there's so much opportunity here, all of these different things, not understanding that when you have a certain hue in your skin tone, things aren't as easy as what you perceive them to be, right?
Exactly.
And so now you're at a place where you're in the military. What happens from there? Do you make the decision to go to college? Because I know you have your MBA.
I do. I do.
Yes. So I want to try to get to, okay, so you have your MBA. How do we get to credit now in this area, in this particular area of, or your niche market?
So once I got into the military, remember I spent all this time learning about money. I spent a lot of time because at first I couldn't get credit at all. So
Wow.
why can't I get credit? I have always been a science person. I need explanations. I need things to make sense to me. Right? So I couldn't figure out why. So I had to learn why. And once I started learning why, when I got into the military, now I'm around at 27, I'm around 19-year-olds. You have to stay into your rank structure. So in my rank structure, there was 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds. I was the oldest person in my entire rank structure.
Wow.
Right? So, you can't hang out with the 30-year-olds because the 30-year-olds are a different rank. They're your supervisors.
Right.
You can't hang out with your supervisors, right? So I'm hanging out with these little babies, and I'm starting, having that conversation with them, because one thing about me, and this is probably a strength and a weakness, if I have gone through something, I don't want anybody else to go through it. And so I started having those discussions with them, and talking to them about money, right? And that's when I started realizing I wasn't the only person that didn't know. Because when you're going through something, you think it's just you.
So true.
But then here are people that don't know how to create a simple budget. There are people that don't know anything about the credit system. There are people out here with 17, 18, 19% on used vehicles, interest rate on used vehicles. So I'm starting to talk to them and train them and teach them up. And, and then I started realizing I got a lot of satisfaction from doing that. Like when they would come back, be like, oh my God, look at my credit score. Oh my goodness, I got this and I got that. That stuff, the feeling from that alone was good, and it was better than anything I could have accomplished on my own for myself.
Wow.
And I didn't realize what I was doing. I just knew I liked helping other people, right? And so as the years went by, I started doing that more and more and more and more, still not realizing what I'm doing. I'm
right.
Because I don't want you to get out of the military and end up where I was. The
right.
life I came up with, it's just a reality for a lot of soldiers, unfortunately, because again, this education around finances and about money is not something that is prevalent in our community. So I'm like, yeah, you want to get out and go back home. Now you're not getting paid on the 1st and the 15th. Yeah. Now you have not gone to college and upgraded yourself. And so I just started doing that kind of maternal role over the people that were in my rank structure. And then I started doing it with people that was older as well too. So people that were, outranked me would trust me enough to be like, hey, Pierre, how do you do this? And I just did that my entire military career. Now when I got into my first duty station, I knew off bat that the number one thing I wanted from the military was my education. Because that was one of the things, that was one of the main things I came here for. Besides my grandma, that was one of the main things that I wanted. I wanted this degree. And so I got to my first duty station in March. I started college full-time, working full-time in the military, and going to school full-time in May. And I went to school off and on my entire military career. So by the time I got out of the military, I had my associates, my bachelor's, and half of my master's. While helping everybody else with their money and everything like that. So I got out in 2019, and I graduated my master's in 2020.
Wow. Okay, so this is what I was thinking while you were talking, because you can have credit but not have the financial savviness that needs to be coupled with the credit, right? And the reason I say that is just from my own past experiences where I've had credit scores of 750, but because you don't make the right financial decisions, you wind up being back at, okay, I'm trying to build my credit over again,
And
right? So I think that one of the things that is so key, and I didn't really think about it before, was the fact that financial coaching and credit have to go together collaboratively in
yes,
order for you to really be able to sustain your future.
yes.
I hadn't thought about it before.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yes. That makes my heart happy. You can't do one without the other. When I
Right.
started in this industry, when I got out of the military, I got hurt. I got hurt pretty badly in the military. That ended my career.
Mm.
And so otherwise I probably would still be into this day.
What?
But when I was getting ready to get out, I'm like, okay, well, what am I gonna do now? Because when
Mm.
I'm in, I'm all in. I was all in, both feet, both hands, everything. I was all in. I was
Right.
a soldier. That was my identity. That was who I
Wow.
was. I woke up every day a soldier. I went to bed every day a soldier. I took my
Wow.
job and my responsibilities and a uniform very seriously, right? And so when my career ended abruptly, I had
Mhm.
to figure out who I was, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to add to the world now that I can't add this thing anymore. And so
Mm.
I sat down and, for a little, and that was a hard transition. That was an extremely difficult transition because
Right.
I was going, 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 and then
Mhm.
boom, I got cut down, right? So
Wow.
it was a difficult transition out. And in between all of that, I had to
Mhm.
figure out what am I going to do now? Because now my paycheck on the first and the 15th is gone.
Yes.
Right? Now my paycheck
Right.
on the first and the 15th is gone. Now I'm in the place where I was, heading back out to be a civilian again, something I haven't
Mm.
done in 8 years and I have no idea how to do anymore. So
Right. Right.
there's
Right.
a huge difference between military and civilian life.
Mm.
It's a huge difference. So anyway, I had to figure out what I wanted to do. And so I was like, okay, what are you good at? Because now your body is hurt. You don't have the same body you went in the military with. And I
Mhm.
also did not realize how much and how hard I was working until I stopped. When I stopped working, everything came on me like a ton of bricks. And I'm like, dang, you were doing the most.
The most.
The
You
most.
doing you literally was working like a full-time 2 full-time jobs,
Two full-time jobs,
plus
going to
in
school,
school.
you know,
Yeah.
everything. I was doing it all because I
Wow.
dare not will let you or anyone, not saying that this was the case, but this was my thought process. I will dare not give you the opportunity to treat me or think of me differently because I'm an immigrant, I'm a Black woman, I'm a this, I'm a that.
Mm.
I'm gonna
Come
do
on.
everything that you're doing plus some,
Come
right?
on.
So that
Mhm.
was my mentality at the time
Mhm.
because where I
Mhm.
came from, I was not going back.
Yes.
Right? And
Gotcha.
so I started questioning myself, okay, what are you good at? Because now I don't want to work for anybody else. I'm done. I'm not working for anybody else. I am done. I'm not giving this type of energy to anybody else. I have to build my own. So, okay, what are you going to build your own with, Janeil? What are you good at? What is everybody coming to you for? Everybody and their mama is coming to me for about money. Teach me how to do this. I'm in debt. My credit is poor. I don't know where my money goes when I get
Mm.
paid. And so I was like, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going
Mm.
to build my own financial literacy business. And that's how I got into business. So yes, I have a master's, but no, I'm not going to use it to help somebody else create their dream. When we have
Yes.
an entire community here that's
Yes.
hurting because of what they don't know.
Right. Right. Oh my gosh. Like, and there has never been more of a time for your expertise than now. When
Yeah.
we're looking at inflation and, the price of food and gas and housing and all of those other things going up, this is where we need to hear from our people who have, like you said, you work hard, and we do 3 times more than our counterparts because we don't want it to ever be said, oh, you're lazy, or we've had to carry you. We've
Mhm.
always worked 3 times harder in
Mhm.
whatever industry we're in to prove ourselves,
Yeah.
right? To go above and beyond. So
Mhm.
now that we're in a place to where society and dollars and cents make a difference, what we might not be able to carry necessarily in terms of financial perspective, or that we can't get with dollars or currency, we will have to try to get with credit. So
Yes.
it's really trying to find the balance between the two.
Yeah.
So when you're working with your clients, what are like 5 of the things that you found that your clients struggle with the most?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I do both sides. I do credit and I also do personal finance
Financial.
because you
Okay.
can't do one without the other. I am accredited financial counselor and I'm also a board certified credit score consultant. So they
Oh.
both go hand. I love education. I I read all day, all night. I'm reading 2 different books right now. It's just that's just in me. That's what I do. I think I
Okay.
was naturally
I
born to.
love it.
So
I love it.
so it goes hand in hand. So there are things that they don't know. Number one, and this is the biggest, it all starts right here, is having a simple plan for your money. We got a
Mm,
lot of people running around with no plan for their money. The money comes in and it goes out, and we're asking, where is it? I don't
mm,
understand. And this is at any income level. Please do not believe that this is at the lower income level. We
got
have
you.
people that are making 250K a year and living paycheck to paycheck. Please do not believe that it's just us, you know, people who are making 12, 19, $20,000 a year that's living paycheck to paycheck.
Wow.
What you don't know, and it does not matter. More money does
How
not
much?
equal
Yeah.
more financial knowledge. It
Got you.
doesn't. It's not a side effect. Wealth is a side effect of financial literacy, not the other way around,
Say
right?
that again. That was good. I need my tea. That was good.
Right? It's the truth, though. You accumulating wealth does not equal you being more financially savvy because you still don't know what you didn't know before you got that wealth. But when
Right.
you have the financial literacy, that is when you can accumulate wealth. That's a side
Mm,
effect. It's a side effect because now you know how money works. Now
right.
you understand what you need to do with it. Now you understand the importance of having a plan. I had to
Mm,
change my tone. I change a lot of things when I'm with my clients. So I don't say budget, I say spending plan. Because I automatically, when you hear budget, you're thinking, oh, diet. I can't. You think
yeah.
restriction. It's all of these negative things we've heard all along the way. So if you have to have a plan for your money before that money even hits the bank. You have to treat that money like an employee.
Okay.
Money works. And you can never, no matter how long you live, you can never outwork your money. So that's the first
Wow.
thing I realized that a lot of people don't understand the importance of is a spending plan. Another thing
Okay.
people don't understand is the importance.
I'm getting ready to take notes while you
Another thing they don't understand is the importance of credit. People tend to think that, hey, I'm making XYZ, I don't need credit. And I was just having this
Mm,
conversation with one of my coaches last night, and she was speaking about it. She's a credit coach, and she was speaking about having high profile actors and actresses and high profile people that has millions of dollars net worth, and they just figure because I'm making millions of dollars a year, I don't need credit. Then to be faced
mm,
with the fact that you do need credit. So now they come in and they're seeking out coaches to help them improve their credit or to repair their credit or to build their credit because
mm.
cash talks, but credit holds conversations. So that's another thing. They
I
don't
like
understand.
that, girl. That's a t-shirt slogan.
It is. Credit holds conversation and credit opens doors that people don't realize. I came across
Mhm.
a young lady that was telling her story about credit. She had bad credit and needed to move. And she went to the apartment complex and she was like, listen, I want a new apartment, blah, blah, blah. And they ran her credit. The credit was not good enough to qualify. She said, well, okay, I can pay the rent up a year in advance. And they still told her no. They still told her no. And this was just recently. So you know the price of apartments now, the price of housing
Yes.
now. So that means she has access to at least $40,000 in cash. And they still did not want it.
Wow.
They still did not want that money. You need to have credit. And then with that, you need to understand how the difference between your credit report and your credit scores. A lot of times when people do start getting into credit, they're only focused on their credit scores.
Mm.
Have a mini panic. I call them mini panic attacks because people will have a full blown meltdown over. Oh, my credit score dropped 1 point. My credit score dropped 2 points. Oh my God, this system is a scam. Blah blah
That
blah.
was me.
I'm like, I think I did it too a little bit, but not as bad as I see some people do it.
Mhm.
But I'm like, wanting to just hold them by the collar and be like, hey, stop it. You know, because the health of your credit profile, if your credit profile, your credit report, if that is healthy, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter if your scores fluctuate. Your scores are going to fluctuate all the time. It's like the weather. It's going to be up,
Right.
down, it's going to do whatever, because there's so many different algorithms and ways to calculate your credit scores, and so many different factors and dates and balances and all of the different things, that even if your credit wavers a little bit, and on top of that, you're on a credit scorecard or in a credit bucket with other
Mhm.
people. So sometimes
Okay.
your personal credit profile has not changed at all, but because your demographic, that bucket that you're in, there was changes there, it can affect your credit. But as long as your credit
Wow.
profile is healthy, you are not going to be harmed by those fluctuations in your credit score, in your raw credit score.
Gotcha.
So that's another thing that people don't understand, that forget about the credit score for right now.
Okay.
Because one, your credit report holds a little bit more weight, right? Than your raw credit score by itself. And then number two, you have no idea. Unless you're buying a home, you have no idea which credit scoring model that lender is going to use. So
That's so true.
you still don't know what the credit score they're going to
Mhm.
pull is. You might be looking
Yeah.
at your FICO 8 and they might pull your FICO 10. They might pull your FICO, there's different versions of the FICO score, right?
Mhm.
On the topic of
Mhm.
FICO score, they also don't realize that there's a difference between Vantage scores and FICO scores, right? They call it Credit Karma scores because Credit Karma is one of the more well-known monitoring services, but that's all
Mhm.
it is. But the score that they're providing you is a Vantage score.
Wow.
FICO has been around since '89. Vantage has been around since 2006. And there's
Gotcha.
differences between both. So they think that, and you hear some people say this, oh, your Credit Karma scores are fake scores. They're not fake.
Mhm.
The major difference between the two is that more creditors right now are using the FICO credit score than the Vantage because
Gotcha.
there's a baby in the game. All right.
Okay.
They're both.
Mhm.
And then another thing is that they don't understand how to build credit. For the love of everything beautiful, for the love of everything beautiful, I am so tired of hearing people say, if you want to build credit, close off your credit cards. Don't do that.
Ooh.
Don't do that. That 30% of your
Hurts you.
score is
Yeah.
made up of your credit card utilization. If you shut
Mhm.
all of your credit cards down, you are immediately taking away 30% of your credit scores. It's either
Wow.
telling them close it off or you don't need. You can build credit without credit cards. 30%
Mhm.
of your credit score is made up of how you use your credit cards. So it's really important to have credit cards and know how to use them. Credit
Okay.
cards are not the devil. They're not. They are very, very important. If you understand how to use them, baby, you'll be out here killing the game. You'll be out here killing the game if you understand the simple concept of how to use a credit card to your advantage. And I'm talking about never paying interest, not ever. Right. And then the last thing, people don't understand what errors are on their credit reports and how to fix them.
Okay.
Right. By law, your credit reports have to be accurate. Every piece of information. Lenders are not looking at your raw credit score only and determining, hey, you got a 750, let me give you this. They're going to your credit report. And if they're going to your credit report, everything that they see have to accurately show who you are as a responsible borrower. So you have to know how to go in there, how to identify what an error is, and how to properly fix that error. Because I was doing some research I go live on TikTok every morning at 6:45. I do my credit tea segment.
Yeah.
We met, and I was explaining to them there about. I lost my train of thought. Give me a second. This happens. Military head injury. So sometimes I lose my train of thought right in the middle of a sentence. But I was
We're
explaining.
talking about not understanding what errors we have on our credit and how to properly fix them.
Yes, it's gone, but it'll come back. It'll
Okay.
come back eventually. But yeah, those are some of the things that are really, really important when it comes to your credit and understand all of these things go hand in hand. If you have too much debt, that can affect your credit.
Mm.
All of these little things. So it's
Okay.
more than 5, but once I start speaking and explaining it to them, they have
Mhm.
pretty much can, grasp the concept of knowing why credit is important. Understanding that credit is also not about just borrowing. People are checking your credit to give you an apartment, to
Mm.
put water in your name, to put light in your name, to determine how much insurance premium you're going to pay on your vehicle,
Yes, that's true.
right?
That's very
And
true.
jobs as well too. How many jobs have you applied for where they ask if it's okay to run your credit? Understand
Yes.
that credit is not just about borrowing. So many people run around. Oh, the borrower is the lender to the slave. The slave, what that verse,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Listen, when you're in Rome, you got to do like the Romans do.
Yep.
You live in
Yeah.
a credit-based society, build your credit, and forget all about those other things because
Right.
it's not going to benefit you none.
Mhm.
Because you're the one that's not going to get an apartment when you need it. You're the one that's going to have to live in areas that you don't want to live in.
Come
Oh,
on.
I remember what I was going to say. I was doing a research for my credit millionaires crew. That's what I call my people, credit millionaires. And
Mhm.
on doing that research, I found out that certain parts, I knew this before, but reading it hit me really hard. There are certain um, places, and I'm guessing these are the places that are redlined, where
Mhm.
those people that live in those places, in those particular cities, in those particular states, if they are black and brown, they have way more errors in their credit report than everyone else.
What?
If you live in a particular area and your hue is of a particular melanated color, your credit report will have more errors that will prevent you from getting qualified for stuff than everybody else. This came from an official government website. Okay, this was a study that was done, and I just sat there and looked
Wow.
because I knew that there are things that I know I'm black. I
Mhm.
lived a black experience, right?
Mhm.
So, and I'm also an immigrant, so I know the experience. But to see it in black and white, to see that it was a study and people know that this is going on, and yet still it allows, we have
Yeah.
to. The way around this, like B
Mhm.
C, the best revenge is your paper. The way around this is to get your knowledge up and get your paper up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's so many stumbling blocks all along the way, but it don't mean that we can't step the hell over it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so interesting that you are speaking on that because I vaguely remember someone saying something like that, but I don't know that they explained it in the way that you just did. In terms of the credit, I do know that I worked in the banking industry for many years, and I shared this last week with our other expert. And I was sharing with her how working in the banking industry, I personally saw how branch managers can push a loan through or make sure that a loan is denied. And a lot of times you will have the white counterpart versus the black, and the white counterpart having worse credit than the black person. The black person could come in and they got like a 700 score, right? And the white person come in and they got 650, but the black person gets denied because of the credit report, right? Wherein the white person is accepted even though their score is lower.
Mhm,
So there are different reasons for which they find to
mhm.
not give us loans. You get what I'm saying? It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
so much of a we can go into a whole lot of different things, in terms of the irrelevance, the relevance or the discrimination that comes
Mhm.
along that we have to deal with as a people,
Yeah.
from sports all the way into business. I just yesterday there was I was made aware, no, it was a couple days ago, I was made aware of the owner of Slutty Vegan out of Atlanta, Georgia. One of her employees is suing her over lack of pay or something like that.
Mhm.
And this business owner, she had interviews lined up with Good Morning America and all. Everybody backed out because of the allegation. right? The courts haven't even ruled yet, but
Yeah.
you would take away this woman's opportunity, all of the hard work that she's done. She doesn't have a history of doing this. This particular employee, they don't even know. This employee probably worked somewhere else and did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for some, it's basically a rumor.
Yeah.
It's
Trial by public, public.
yes.
Yep. She already got
Yes.
you're guilty. That's it. One accusation and we our
Yeah.
previous president. That's it. And
Yeah.
that's it. Our previous president.
Yeah.
That's it. Right? But
It
here's one person that got one allegation that always had a history, and before you even give that person a chance to tell their side of the story, you automatically, it's a lot. We go through a lot. And that's why I'm so adamant about teaching what I teach. And I'm so adamant about not being in the business of convincing anybody of anything. It's either you want to stay on the conspiracy theory side of it, or you want to be a part of the solution. Because
and get it fixed.
the more of us that have our stuff together, the more of us that understand how this works, the harder it's going to be to ignore us.
Yeah.
The harder it's going to be. They're going to keep changing the rules. And guess what? There's a lot of people like me out here that reads for a living.
Yes.
And we
Yes.
It has to be put the law. It has to be read by somebody, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's you and Dr. Goody are on the same level. Like, she loves reading, she loves education, just like you, just love to read and love to educate. And these are the individuals that we need to be paying to teach us what you're taking the time out to learn these things and bring this education and this information to us to help us come out of because like gone are the days of you not being able to have credit. You know, back when my grandfather, when I was younger, a young adult, I wanted him to help me get a car. And so I was like, I don't have any credit, so I need you to co-sign. And he was like, well, what in the HE double hockey sticks is credit? Anything that I want, I buy it with cash, right? That's the way he did. Kind of like what you were saying with wealthy people. Well, I have the cash. There's no need for me to fix my credit because I can just buy whatever I want with cash. But we now with inflation, that's like, why would you want to do that when you can basically, instead of using your money, you can actually take that money and invest it into something that's going to give you a return versus using it to acquire things that are going to depreciate in value. Right? So these are all of the conversations that we need to have as a people, because oftentimes that's what we do. We see something, we want it, and we go just put money on it. When now that things are so expensive, you get what I'm saying? What rent used to be $600, $700, $800 a month. We've tripled that. So you're paying $1,900 a month for the same apartment that you would have paid $700, $800 for like 5 years ago. So the idea of just dropping cash on something really is not advantageous for us. What we should be looking at is, if we're going to drop cash, let's go ahead and get this credit right.
Yes. And that's what I teach. That's the basis of what I teach. You build your credit so that you can use other people's money to grow your wealth.
Yes.
So many times we're running down trying to, debt is not good. Debt is not good. Debt is not good. No, there are different types of debt.
Right.
All debt is not created equal.
Right.
If you're spending debt on, like you said, depreciating assets or depreciating stuff or things that you cannot see.
Right.
And yet you can't see it. But you have a credit card bill and you don't even know what that credit card was charged for.
Wow.
That is unproductive or consumptive debt. And that debt does nothing besides keep you broke. But if you take out a loan, and you go buy a rental property, something Airbnb, if you start a business, if you invest in a trucking company, if you took out a loan and do something like that, that has a return of anything from, let's say, 6 to 12% return on interest, then you can take that same money, pay the loan back, and still have a profit for yourself. And then you take the money that the money makes and pay off what you need to pay.
Yes.
We are hundreds and thousands of dollars a year to try to rush and pay off a mortgage just so we can say we're mortgage free, we are debt free.
Right.
A lot of advantages to holding on to a mortgage, especially if your interest rate is under 3%.
Come on. Come on.
If your interest rate is under 3%, take that extra $1,000, $1,500 and invest it in something that can give you a return. Then you take the money that your money made and then you pay off your debt.
Come on.
I try to tell some people
Wow.
that, and they was like, I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not doing it. Okay, I'm not in the business of convincing, because the time it's taken me to convince you to do what I'm telling you to do, I can find somebody else that's be willing to listen
Right.
and help that person get on the other side.
Wow.
So Janeil does not do any level of convincing whatsoever. It's either you hear it or you don't.
Wow. That's the truth. For real. I mean, like, those are the hard conversations that we have to have as a community, right? This is not like, you go to YouTube and you can find, very entertaining conversations, hot topics, gossip. Those are the things that we like to distract ourselves with. But these are the conversations that we need to have in order to elevate us from the bottom of the totem pole, the bottom of the barrel, to actually building wealth, leaving behind a legacy, right? And and we can do, these millennials are doing it like quickly.
Yeah.
They're learning how to leverage and level up very quickly.
Yep. It's possible. I have seen so many people. One of the persons I follow online, I'm very, very enamored by her. She, you probably know her, Ellie Talks Money.
Oh yes, Ellie. Yes.
I am so in awe of that young lady. Just
Yeah.
everything about her and her story.
Yeah.
And everyone, if you know her, you know that she took $1,200 during
Yep.
the
COVID, the
pandemic
stimulus. Yep.
and turned it into $1.2 million in 10
Yep.
years, in 10 months,
Yep.
excuse me, 10 months,
Yep.
right? She used what she had, took what she had and created what she could out of it and went forward.
Bought a cell phone, a ring light. I think what else did she buy during that time? I know it was that was two of the things that she bought,
And she
but
just
she
started
started.
an LLC and
Yep.
all that stuff, and she just went. So what can you, I always ask my clients this, if I have clients that come to me and I'm like, hey, I have debt and I need to pay off my debt, but at the first thing I ask, what does your spending plan look like? How much additional money are you bringing in per month that you can put towards your debt? And if the answer is I'm stretched thin right now and there's really nothing left, the first thing I do, what can you do to increase your income? Because
Come
it doesn't
on.
matter what strategy I give you to eliminate that debt. If you do not have the money, it does not make any sense
It's
me
not
telling
gonna
you
work.
do this, this,
Yeah.
this. You have to first increase your income. And too
Mm.
many times we get comfortable with the income that we're earning to the point where we don't understand the importance of making more. Right?
Right.
We tell ourselves we got time to save. We got time to save. I'm only 30 years old. I got time to save. Baby, money
Right.
goes over time. Time is 70,000 to 268
That's right.
million.
Yep.
Right? I was just reading an article about I believe he was Warren Buffett's protege. $70,000 turned into 268 million in under 30 years. Money makes money. You can use other people's money while you put yours to grow.
Yes.
That's the point I want us to get to. That's what I want us to understand. Money doesn't get tired. Money doesn't get sick. Money doesn't need a break. But we do. Money doesn't need mental health days. But we
Come
do.
on.
And the next part about credit is with companies like Amazon, companies like Tesla, companies like Google and such, who made $1 billion in the quarter of 2020. Do you not think they have and are using credit? If these big businesses that are bringing in $1 billion a quarter is using credit, who are you to close your ears when people start talking about credit?
Come on now.
Who are you?
Come
when
on.
you're in Rome, you do like the Romans do.
That's right.
Credit is a thing. Learn it. Learn how to take advantage of it. Learn how to build it. Learn how to take your money and put it into investment, into vehicles that can grow instead of wearing your wealth. We wear our wealth too much. Wealth is not a
Yes.
look.
Yes.
Not a look. Some of the richest people, you would see them and you would not even think they had a dime to their name when you pass by them.
Listen, and that is the truth. They have some holy jeans on, some raggedy flip flops, a whole T-shirt with holes in it and paint on it, and you be looking at them like they poor and they riding around, and you walk out the store with them and see what kind of car they get in.
If at all, because Bezos had a 1998 Camry, Toyota, something like that.
Yes, yes, yes,
If
yes,
they're
yes.
because they understand how money works, so they're not spending
Yeah,
money on frivolous stuff. Now, I
yeah.
love a good car and a nice house. I'm not gonna lie, and I tell my people all the time, wealth is whatever you want it to be. A luxurious life is
Mhm,
whatever you want it to be, but understand that you
mhm.
have to make the money first
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
live the lifestyle. Don't try to live the lifestyle first and then try to. So
Mm.
I'm not ever telling my people, hey, don't get this and don't do that and don't. No, if you want to live a
Mm.
luxurious life, that is all fine and well, no matter what luxury looks like to you, but do it smart.
Yes,
Do
absolutely.
it smart. Don't your car shouldn't be more than you earn in a year. That's
Right,
not wealth.
right,
That's not wealth.
right.
Right?
I
Build the money first. Let the money make the money, and then you go buy that $100,000 car.
mm.
At that
That's
point, yes.
interesting too that you say that, because Tabitha Brown just did like an episode with her husband. It's Fridays with Tab and Chance, and they
Mhm.
were talking about like manifesting and how when they first bought their first home, they bought it like in a remote location. Nobody would come out and visit them. They had a Mercedes Benz, and the Mercedes was the maintenance on it was more than what they could afford. So they wound up just like selling all of their stuff and moving into a rental property and being in that place for like 7 or 8 years, and just like understanding. Tab was like, she understood at that point, once they made the decision that they made to buy the house, to buy that car, not really having the income that's coming in to sustain it was a huge mistake. So
Yes.
when she came into this level of wealth that she's in now, she made different decisions differently, right?
Yes.
Making sure that you can sustain a lifestyle that you acquire for yourself, and that you're wise with how you spend your money.
Yes.
So I definitely, wow, that's a whole mouthful.
Yes.
So when we're talking about because that right now we're in a time where everybody is probably really tight on finances, right?
Mhm.
Well, before we get into that, let's go ahead and take a quick break. You all, while we're taking a break, make sure that you share this show with your friends on your news feed, your timelines. This is an important conversation that we need to have within our community so that we can begin to come up. We need to fix our credit, personal credit, get our business credit in place, get our finances in place. And we are bringing experts on the platform that can help you do just that. Joining me today is Miss Janeil Pierre, and she's going to share some more information with us right after this. We'll be right back.
Welcome to BEMP, Black Heritage Enterprise Marketplace Corporation, an e-commerce enterprise platform created for Black business owners and empowered buyers across the globe. We are the platform that empowered buyers frequent most, the enterprise that our employees love working for, the parent company of BEMCO, Black Entrepreneurs Marketplace, a Black-owned e-commerce Black business membership marketplace, and a marketing and advertising platform for Black business owners. We provide a variety of features such as a Black business directory for both state and national searches and targeted product and service searches. Black business owners, advertise and market your brand to the most important consumers on earth with BEMP. Black business owners, join BEMP today. BEMP Corporation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to TeeShirtz and Tea Tuesdays, guys. Listen, I hope that you all are enjoying the show, enjoying the content that we've been sharing over the past 2 weeks since we premiered on last week. We had Dr. Goody on from last week, so make sure that you go in and sign up for some of her content courses. She's doing a consumer course coming up here soon, and so you want to make sure that you get enrolled in that. it's consumer laws. Now, tonight, our special guest and expert advisor is Miss Janeil Pierre. She is a financial consultant, credit repair specialist. Listen, she has a lot of hats that she wears, loves education, knows her industry. So you want to make sure that you have your pen and paper. And if you don't have that, make sure you got your phone, take some notes, because she is giving a lot of life to us tonight, honey. Y'all got to be prepared, be on point. And listen, we're getting ready to get down into the nitty gritty of it. So before we left for our commercial, oh, and guys, please make sure that you like, share, subscribe, follow, wherever you are on whatever platform you are, make sure you do that. So Janeil.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we talked about, people in today's time with inflation, everything being so expensive. People, what do you say to those individuals who want to, increase their credit, want to do more financially, but are living paycheck to paycheck, and they're already stretched thin from just working every day? What suggestions do you have for those individuals in terms of how they can go about increasing their income? Do you have any specific? I know you mentioned Airbnbs before, but generally you have to have good credit to do that. So
Yes.
where would be point A? Where do we start?
The same place I started. When I was down and out, I would look for little things to do that I can naturally do, things that I was naturally good at, like braiding hair. I did that
Okay.
all through the military as well. I braided hair and I babysat because I'm an introvert. I don't like crowds. I have a people limit. Time out. I have a people limit and I get tired of people in real quick. So I would stay back and I would watch the kids and let the adults go out and have fun, just give them a break, because being raised by a single parent also taught me how important it is to give single parents a break. So that's how I made some extra money on the side. So I always tell my people, there is something in your wheelhouse, something that you can do naturally. And they'll say, oh, well, I don't have any talents. We all got a talent, baby.
Wow.
We
Come on.
all have a talent. Can you meal prep for someone? Can you babysit for someone? That job that you have that go into every single day, can you use the skills from that job? We talked about it a little earlier with Ellie. Ellie was in marketing and sales.
Yes.
Use the skills from the job, from the job, working for somebody else, and created a whole business out of it. So just start small. An additional $200 to $500 a month can make a huge difference when you're struggling and when you're paying down debt. You don't have to make it $1.2 million. Why is my lighting is going? It doesn't have to be 1.2 million in one shot, but you can do something. There is something that you can do.
Oh, Miss Maya Cutie Pool says I do that now. So she does babysitting and hair right now on the side to help her supplement her income as well. That is very good. I just actually read an article today about a father and daughter duo that made like great buns, hamburger buns. And they are actually the supplier, like one of the major suppliers to McDonald's restaurants.
Yep. You just got to start. You just got to start. We have a habit of number one, succeeding and blowing past it, right? We do something, we blow past, we never stop and celebrate what we've just done.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is we downplay our skills. Excuse me. We downplay our skills. And I'm saying we because I did this my entire career. And I'm like, I don't like spotlight on me. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. You don't have to praise me for it. That's something we have to get out of.
Right.
Praise, take your praise because you deserve it. You chose to do it. So if we can cook really well, my grandmother was one of the best cooks known to man.
Wow.
Known to man. And I tried every which way to get her before she passed. I tried every which way when she was younger and stuff to get her into, doing it on a bigger level. Because it don't matter what it is. It can be made from flour and water and it will taste like a slice of heaven.
Wow.
That's skills that you cannot downplay.
Yes. I another good testimonial, just what you were saying with like cooking and food, like if that's one of your gifts. Two sisters made a fried chicken recipe with brown stew. I guess the base of it is brown stew chicken, like
Mm,
marinade, but they started cooking these chicken sandwiches out of their house, and it's like advertising it on social media. Hey, we cooking fried chicken at the
mhm.
house, people coming over. And it went from that to now they are literally making millions of dollars. And that's right here in Florida. I
Nice.
want to say it's like down in Sarasota, Florida. These young ladies are killing it. Okay.
Mhm.
So, like, they giving Chick-fil-A, they're going to give them a big run for their money. Another family out of Jacksonville, Florida, peach cobbler is their thing. They do an excellent job with peach cobbler. They have the peach cobbler factory, and they opened up the one location. They started out of their house, made enough to now open one location. Then they opened a second location, and now they open a location here in Tampa, Florida.
Yes.
Again, doing something that they love doing. If you are somebody that loves doing hair, you
Mhm.
can open up a salon, have other people coming in and working for you.
Mhm.
There are so many different ways to do that. But again, the financial literacy is going to be a key component for that. And I would even include myself in that, because I'm like right now paying for subscriptions of stuff that I don't even use.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's like that's money going out the door every month for
Mhm.
subscriptions that I'm not even using.
Yep. And we tend to think when it comes to subscriptions, oh, it's only $10, I can afford it.
Yep.
It's only $12, I can afford it. It's only
Yes.
$15. And then when you turn around, your subscriptions are $300 a month. And then
Yes.
you're telling me you can't save,
Come on. Mhm.
right? I
Mhm.
can't save.
Mhm.
Yes, you
Mhm.
can.
Right.
Yes, you can. And I should have known. They say success leaves clues, and
Mhm.
I should have known I would have been on the money train when, as a child, going to secondary school. I started secondary school back home at before I turned 11. Right, I started
Wow.
super early. I wasn't just. I'm a little bit smart, so I I started talking at 9 months, and I started
Wow.
nursery school at 2 years. And then from
Wow.
nursery school, I, just went straight. So I ended up that's how I ended up graduating at 16 because I
It's
started
16,
school
yeah.
super early.
Okay. Mhm.
So at when I started secondary school before I turned 11, my mom gave me enough money to get to school every day. $2 to go to school, $2 to come back home.
Wow.
That's all she could have afforded. And for the entire secondary school in the Caribbean is 5 years. So I started just before 11. I graduated at 16. And the entire 5 year span, $20. And what I did, I went to school and I signed up there was a free, we call it a free bus. There was a
Mhm.
free bus that lower income families can sign up for. I went and
Okay.
I signed up for the lower income rides to and from. And they would pass my house in the morning at 7 a.m. So I
Wow.
didn't have to be at school until 8:30, but I would get up early, catch that 7 a.m. free bus, get
Wow.
to school early, and then catch it back in the afternoon and go home. And I would take 10 out of that $20 and I would save it every single week. Every week. I did that from 11 all the way until I graduated high school, every week for 5 years. I should have known that I would have got into money because that's what I did as a child. Because again, I'm observant. I'm seeing that my mother is struggling. I'm going to save
Right.
50% of my school money, get the
Mhm.
free bus, save 50% of my school money, spend the next $2 a day on snacks, right? That was my budget.
Right.
$2 a day on snacks, nothing more, nothing less, unless I didn't spend money on Monday or Tuesday because I carried lunch to school.
Okay.
Right? So if I didn't spend something on Monday or Tuesday, then I'll have extra money to spend more than $2 a day. But if I did, it was $2 a day. The other $10 would stay. And with that $10, that's the money that I used to get the things that I didn't want to ask her for.
Wow. Wow.
So sometimes it paid for outings, sometimes it paid for clothes, sometimes it paid for different things because I would save that $10 every single week. So, and when I was struggling, when I was living in New York and struggling before I got into the military,
Mhm.
every week I would come home with my pen and paper, right? My little small income, and
Mhm.
I would be like, okay, rent is this much. The rent goes first. So everything comes after the rent, because I'm not going to be living in the street. I'm on the air mattress on the floor, and that's okay, because I would rather be on an air mattress on the floor than in the street. Cool.
Right.
So
True.
what's left after? Okay, this much. I have this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And that's how it started. And to this day, I don't know where I put my book. I probably put it away. But to this day, I tell my people all the time, I still budget like that.
Wow.
I still
I see it.
This is an old one. This is not my updated one. But I still do that, right? You don't have to, making a spending plan doesn't have to be anything complicated. Got you. Simple. What is the plan for your money? And the first thing that you do is that you set aside something to save. Because even though I only had sometimes $100 for the week living in New York, for the week. Wow. After I paid my rent. And New York is expensive. And New York is super expensive. Yes. I would still save at least $5. Because God forbid something happens and I have absolutely nothing. That was my worst fear. Something happens to my mom, something happens to my brothers, and I have absolutely nothing. That was my fear. So when you have circumstances like that, you're going to understand the importance of saving, even if it's $5, taking that $5 and putting it to the side. So that's why when people say they can't save, you're choosing not to save, because there is something that you can put, even if it's $10. Don't discount it. Because just like when we go to Walmart and the 99-cent store and to Target and everything else, we have 4 items, and that 4 items is $120. Baby, when you save, it's adding up the same way. Wow. That's big, because in my mind, when I look at like finances and stuff like that, when I used to look at finances, I would be like, okay, so it's not going to really make a difference for me to save $10. Like, that's nothing. But when you really look at it over a period of time, if you're saving $10 from each paycheck, that's $20 a month. And so you're looking at it multiply over time, wherein you never actually put it aside. So now you don't have anything at all. And we go and spend $10 real quick on a burger, like one item, like a burger. I mean, lunch. So let's think of it as lunch. If you spend about $27 on lunch, that's $10,000 for the year. If you spend $27 on lunch, if you put that $27 away, that's $10,000 for the year. Some people have never seen $10,000 in their bank account. Wow. So it's a decision. You have to understand how money works. You have to make intentional decisions. You have to make a plan. And otherwise, if you don't, even if you come into money, it is going to leave you. Got you. Wow, that's good. That's good tea right there. That's good tea. So let's talk about really quickly. I know we're running out of time, and I done had you all night, so I don't want to take up the rest too much more of your evening. But say for instance, we have young women or families that are receiving public assistance because they just don't have enough of income coming in. So with public assistance, I know, because personally I had to depend on that at one point in my life. It's like the minute you make an extra little dollar, they trying to take all your assistance away, you know. So how would you advise someone that's kind of in that situation where, okay, I'm not in a place where I can actually go and work another full-time job because I have a family, I have children, a household. But then if I go and I get another job and I make more money, then now they're going to take my housing away. They're going to take my food stamps away. They're going to take my health insurance. So how would you advise someone that is in that position? Like, where should they start? How should they strategize when it comes to being in a situation like that? So my thought process around that is this: sometimes we're just going to have to take a risk and trust ourselves, right? Because, well, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with using the services that are put in place, but understand that you're using it as a stepping stone. Stepping stone, yes. Right? Yes. You use it as a stepping stone. And when you have sat there and tried something, let's say you tried braiding here, for example, and you start realizing that there is potential here. At one point in time, you're going to have to be okay with letting go and being like, okay, I am going to trust myself to go forward and do that's some good tea.
Yes, good. But you giving good tea too, though. I'm like on both ends. I was like, I need my tea.
Yes. But yeah, you're gonna have to trust yourself. Listen, one of the biggest mistakes I made in business was not trusting myself, and it cost me a lot of money because I
Wow.
was looking at the people that were doing it their way and thinking that they could tell me how to do my business my way.
Wow.
My business is mine. My story is mine. My journey is mine. My
Yes.
beliefs are mine. And so
Yes.
my business has to come from inside of me. Regardless of who's out there saying, hey, I made $1 million. I made this. I made that. You're going to have to trust yourself. The price I paid for not trusting myself to develop and grow my business the way I wanted to do it from my own heart, because I know I'm not the usual.
Right.
I'm not the usual. I am
Okay.
different. I am so different from
Yes.
other people. So what works for you will not work for me. What works for me might not work for somebody else. So
Right.
if you're in that position where you're on welfare and you need to do something, you need to trust yourself with everything that you got and go full steam ahead and never take your eyes off the prize.
Come on.
So when they cut that off, is because you already know that your system works, that there are people that are designed. When you were born, there are a group of people that are designed for you to lead. Those people are going to come find you, but you can't teeter and you can't waver.
Come on.
Do what you need to do. If you want to start your business, start your business. There are a lot of welfare to millionaire stories all over the internet. Start
Yes.
on some of them, but never be comfortable, because there is no lack in this universe.
Come on.
There's abundance all around us. There are trillions of dollars floating around this doggone earth.
Come on.
Some of that got your name on it, but you have to jump. You have to trust yourself. You have to go all in and never look back. Otherwise, you are going to stay there. People like to talk about being a realist. I can't get on board with that. Because if you're looking at your situation and that's all you're looking at, I'm being real and this is what it is. I only have $20 in the bank. Baby, if you can't see your bank account with 20 million, you will never see anything more than $20. You have to
Come on. Yes.
Being a realist is not where it's at.
Come
you
on.
have to have that audacious faith in yourself. And then when you start seeing yourself out of that situation, everything is going to fall into place.
Come on. I love it. I love it. That's like the best advice that you could. I agree with you 100%. And I know that there are a lot of our people that are in that position where they're just kind of like stuck. I'm scared to, move, because if I do this, then I'm going to lose this. And if I do that, I'm going to lose that. But
what would you
I
gain
agree.
if you do that, though? We're talking about what we're going to lose, but we don't ever lose. I have a lot of losses in life, a lot of physical, emotional, financial losses that I took in life. But whenever you lose something, it makes space for something bigger to take where that loss was. We cannot be afraid of losing anything, because if it's yours, you can't lose it in the first place. But if you're going down the wrong path, something is going to have to kick you off to put you on the right path. Because yes, I would have made an amazing pediatric nurse, but I love what I'm doing now.
Come on.
I love what I'm doing now. I enjoyed my military career. I will do it all over again. All of the pain, all of the hurt, all of the heartbreak, the broken bones, everything. I will do it all over again. Wow. So never be afraid. What is fear anyway? What is fear? There's no advantage to being afraid of something you can't see, you can't touch. That's not putting money in the bank. You have to jump. You have to take that risk. You 100% have to, because anything that you want in life is on the other side of your fear. There's nothing here for you. You got to do it scared. I did so many things scared, but everything led me to this point where I'm at, and I wouldn't change a doggone thing.
When I tell you, you said the same thing that Dr. Goody said about scared and fear. She's like, I do everything scared and afraid, because she's found that the sac is not worth anything if you don't take the chance on yourself, right? And what is in you, like what is in you was put in you by God, right? And that can't fail.
Nope.
So I absolutely love the information that you're providing. Now, do you have any courses coming up? Do you have any webinars? Nathaniel Yasharala said, amazing, that if our viewers want to reach out to you and get involved in your courses, do you do mentorship? Tell us about what the products and services that you offer.
So I have something coming out tomorrow, but there are things now. I do have a debt repayment course. It starts with mindset and ends with increasing your net worth. Under 90 minutes. Like it can't get any better than that, right?
Wow.
So I have that available now. It's called Debt Be Gone, right? And this is getting rid of unproductive or consumptive debt so that you can make way and build your credit to take on productive debt.
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
I also have a DIY credit kit. Credit is this is something that a lot of people don't know. There is nothing that I can do as a board certified credit score consultant that you can do for yourself. So I do have that DIY kit available. If you have the time, if you want to learn, you just buy the kit and you can go repair your own credit, right? It's a complete kit. You can repair and build your credit. If you want, depending on which state you live in, I can do it for you, right? What else do I have? And I do consultations. I also do credit audit sessions. So where I can audit your credit report for you, kind of go through whatever needs to be fixed with you. And from that point, you can just go fix the things yourself. So that's most of the people who in the states that I'm not legally allowed to do credit repair in. Because credit repair is very legal. It's very legal. Right. And I obey all rules and all laws. So for the people who state I am not legally allowed to do credit repair, and I do a credit audit session with you, I give you the plan and you can go execute on your own.
Come on.
Right. So I do have a couple of things. So if you ever need it, I have position for wealth sessions, what I call them. We sit together, I help you create a spending plan, I help you create a debt repayment plan. If you don't want to buy the course and do it on your own, we can do that together.
Okay. Someone asked, do you let me see. Do you do income tax returns?
So I don't do them myself, but I am affiliated with a firm that does them.
Okay.
Yes. So if you reach out to me, you would send me a message on either Instagram or TikTok. I'm most active on Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
Send me a message anywhere there. I can give you the information that you need for the tax strategy.
Just in case, yes.
Strategist, not preparer. You want a tax strategist, especially if you have a business. You want a tax strategist.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to have to reach out to you for that information because I do need a tax strategist. So I'll reach out to you since there is clearly a difference. Yes. Listen, everybody, you all can find Janeil on Instagram, TikTok, financialpilot.com. Financial Pilot when you're looking for her on Instagram or TikTok. Y'all make sure y'all hit her up. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. She has so much content on her pages already, like on both of her platforms. So if you go over to either or, you can find her information and reach out to her. I'm going to be reaching out to her because there are some things that, just because you think you know something don't mean you know everything. Sometimes you need to know what other people know that'll help you know that you don't know what you don't know. Right? So so Janeil, before we close out tonight, is there anything else that you want to leave the people with this evening?
Yes. So I am big on spirituality. And so I'm going to start incorporating that part into my business as well, because as a people, we have a lot of money traumas that we have to break. We got a lot of money. I had it for a long time going through that period of struggle, to the point where when I'm fearful when I'm spending money. Money is energy. Everything around us is energy. Wow. And we have to understand how to keep our energies and our vibrations high and everything else like that.
Yes.
So you have to get in touch with the God inside of us, right? That's a huge part of all of this as well, too. So understand that the thoughts that you think has the power to manifest itself. Wow. The words that you speak, they have power. So stop walking around here talking about I'm broke. Please.
Come on.
Love of everything beautiful. Stop walking around here. Oh, no matter how much money I have, I'm broke. That's not it.
Come
I'm
on.
not. Let's learn to say no. No is a
Mhm.
complete sentence.
Yeah.
It's a complete and full sentence. We don't have to tell someone that we're broke because we don't want to lend them money. No suffices. Because we
That's
cannot
right.
say words and not expect those words to take root.
Come on.
We have to
Wow.
clean up our thought process, and we have to clean up the things that we say, because every word that you utter has the ability to become your reality. So with that being said, speak the reality that you want. If you want to live on Beverly Hills, speak that.
Come on.
If you want to have a Maserati, speak that.
Yes.
Right? No matter what you want. I am an advocate for everything luxury, on whatever that means to you. Luxury
Come
to
on.
me is freedom of time and being able to go see my nieces, my nephews, being able to travel. I like a nice car. That's luxury to me.
Come on.
If something else is luxury to you, that is okay. Understand it's okay, but you got to be smart about it. And you have to use your words and your thoughts to get to where you want to go.
Oh, you just said a whole mouthful. I'm definitely gonna have to have you back on here. When you said financial trauma, Black people suffer from major financial trauma.
Mm-hmm.
The fear of not having, or the fear of going back to not having, or the fear of not having enough. Like,
Yes.
that is serious.
It's real. I had to shake it.
I know some people personally who don't live. They don't use the money, the currency that they have coming in, because they're so afraid.
That it'll run out. And I had that for a
Yes.
long time, because I lived in a state where the evidence showed that if you spend this money, it's going to run out. So even when I 10x my salary or my income, I was still carrying around that, oh, you don't spend this, don't buy that, get something cheaper. And I had to catch myself. And I'm like, wait, we're not in New York anymore. This is not the reality anymore. And I had to break that, because I refused to keep walking around being fearful to spend money, in the fear that I'm going to run out when there's no evidence that I will.
Come on.
Right? There's no evidence that I will. I went through that so I can learn, experience it, and speak to the people that's there now and show them what's possible. But I'm not going to keep letting that situation rent space in my brain. Right? It's not going to
You're
happen.
not going to be a prisoner to it.
I'm not going to be a prisoner to it, and I'm not going to manifest it back into my life.
Come on.
They're thinking about it all day and night. What does the Bible tell you? If you're a Christian, what does the Bible tell you? Manifest day and night on the things that you want. Think about it. So if you're sitting there thinking about the things that you don't want, and then you're wondering why you can get out of it, it's because you're creating that situation for yourself.
Come on now. Come on.
Understand the power of your thoughts. That is so huge.
Wow. Ooh, yes, you got to come back. Just on dealing with like I said, just on dealing, Nathaniel Yasharala said, great advice. Just on dealing with the trauma, like the way that we think, our thought processes. And like you said, meditate. What are we meditating on? What are we speaking with our mouths? What are we thinking? Because we think what you should have whatsoever you think. Yes. Let's see. One of our other viewers, Tyra Rush, says, this is information that our community needs.
Yes, ma'am.
Very true.
Yes, ma'am.
Very true.
I'm doing my part, but I have to set things up because, like I said, I had to start my business all over because of trauma, right? Coach hurt. I had to start my whole business over because of me not trusting myself and trusting somebody else. So with that being said, I'm coming back. I just started back my business last October.
Okay.
So I started fresh, and I love where I'm going because this business is all me. Every piece of it, it's me, inside and out. The financial pilot is me. The pilot part, and I'll tell you this real quick before we leave. The pilot part came in, this whole idea came to me when I had to take a job because, like I said, I lost everything. So I had to take a job, and I went working in the banking industry for a while. And I had a pregnant, and I didn't even realize she was pregnant, but I had a pregnant lady walk in, and she ended up in my office. So just making conversation with her, I while I, waiting for her transaction to go through, she started telling me that she was a pilot. And I was like, oh, that's really nice. We just started talking from there. She gave me all of the information to get into pilot school. And the reason why that was even a thing is because my first dream when I came here at 16 years old, I came here July 2001, right before September 11th. Right when I was brand spanking new to this country when September 11th happened, and I thought it was a movie on the TV.
What?
I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was. I'm like, mommy, what you watching? Because I was in the, I'm always, when my grandmother was here, I was always up under her. So I'm like, Mom, what are you watching? She was like, that's the news. Right. And so from there, we started seeing, all of the Air Force commercials and all of the jets and all the flying. I'm a daredevil. I love risky stuff.
Oh my
So I was like, Mom, you know what? I want to fly planes. I want to fly because it looks so amazing. Right. And that was me at 17 years old. I had just turned 17 when all of this happened. And I just that was a dream that was there. But you know how you think something like, you're crazy even thinking that thought. Like, that's a crazy thought. So you just kind of tuck it to the side. So here I am from 2011 all the way to 2022.
Right.
Here comes a pregnant female pilot telling me that I can get into pilot school. And so I signed up for pilot school last year. And I went and picked up my books. And on the way back to work, I'm like, well, I'm still going to do my money thing because I cannot share that. I have to help my people. I have to help them. That's a part of me that will never die.
Right.
So even though I'm going to do this, I can be a private pilot, fly when I want, do whatever I want. I'm not going to work for the big airlines. I'm just going to do it privately.
Right.
What will I call my business? And I'm thinking, and I'm like, the financial pilot, because I'm a pilot and I'm the finances. So that's where the financial pilot came from.
I love it.
It so happened that right before the end of class, my dad passed.
Oh my gosh.
So I didn't graduate last year like I was supposed to.
My condolences.
Yeah, that was a tough situation for me to go through. And so this year, 2023, I'm going to go back and finish getting my pilot license. So I will actually legitimately be a financial pilot. So that's where this whole idea came from.
Girl. And you know what I was thinking? I was like, financial pilot. She taking people to their destinations, honey. Financially, she giving them the consultation that they need to get them to their destination. So that's what I'm thinking is like with your intellect and the knowledge that you have, you're navigating people. You're actually taking them to their destination.
And I am.
So that is, but it's like dual, right? It's on both sides. So I really love that. Oh my gosh, girl, I'm gonna have to get on a plane with you.
Oh, we're going places.
Where we going?
So yes, I'll get back to that this year as soon as I put some more things in place and I can dedicate that time because it was very time consuming to get that. It's a lot of studying, a lot of technical stuff. It's a lot, but I'm gonna do it just because it's available.
Okay, and you can.
And I can, yes.
Yes, and you can. Wow. Thank you so much, Janeil. I am definitely going to be in touch with you. Like I said, I will want to bring you back so we can talk about or discuss on the other level mindset, mind shift. Because a lot of times you can give people knowledge, but if they don't really understand how the mental shift needs to take place in our mind, that knowledge just kind of goes to the wayside. I saw a comment up. Was it Tyra Rush again? She said, thank you for coming on and sharing great tea. I told y'all we was going to be bringing the tea, honey. The tea, honey. Y'all make sure y'all share this episode with everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Janeil, for joining us tonight. Again, I am going to be in touch because these are conversations that we need to have. Yes, there is no financial freedom, no financial liberty, no credit and all of that stuff if your mindset is not right. So we got to get on it as a people. So thank you so much. I pray that you have a wonderful, blessed rest of your week and evening and year. And we will definitely be in touch to bring you back on with us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Good night. Oh my gosh. So these things to consider before going to a debt settlement company. And this is on Janeil's platform as well. I think it's Instagram.
Yes,
You guys, she has some information there that you can find. 1, credit profile will be negatively impacted. 2, debt is not repaid in full. 3, creditors are not required to accept settlement offers. 4, debt balances are likely to increase while settlements are being negotiated. Things to consider. 5, collection activity may re-escalate. 6, you may be taxed on the portion of the debt you don't pay back. 7, the account will be re-aged to the last date of activity, which is true. I found that out. Making the account current. 8, settled accounts are harder to remove from your credit report. 9, once the account has been settled, the creditor will update the account to settled less than full amount or settled. And 10, when using a debt settlement company, you have to pay monthly fees to them. So these are things that need to be considered, guys, before you consider, settling out an account. These are all of the things that need to be considered. And you can always go over to Janeil's page at Financial Pilot. That's on Instagram as well as on TikTok. With that being said, I hope that you all enjoyed tonight's episode of T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays. And make sure that you tune in on Thursday evening for Bimp on the Spot with Taz, for an exclusive interview with Kobe Young. He's the Miami Hurricane breakout wide receiver. Y'all want to be there for that. 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, January 19th, which happens to be my anniversary. So guys, make sure you tune in and also go back and just listen in on our episodes from last week. Dr. Goody on Tuesday, talking about credit and leveraging your credit to build wealth. We also discussed some consumer laws that you would be very interested in. And then also go in and listen to our last week's Bimp on the Spot with Taz with Mike Evans, the second exclusive interview. Guys, you want to make sure that you do that. In the meantime, in between time, we will see you on next Tuesday evening for T-Shirts and Tea Tuesdays. Good night, everybody.
Everybody.
Good night.